Hey, what is happening, guys? Rules for Rebels here. Today is just going to be kind of a random blog post, and I'm actually reaching out to you guys for some advice actually today. So I live in Illinois. I live in the Chicagoland area, and it seems that my state has become kind of national news in terms of, I saw a headline the other day on Drudge Report, is Illinois the next Venezuela? I've always known I lived in a really poorly managed, very shitty, financially run state. Mike Madigan, John Cullerton, and most of our politicians, we don't have term limits. We got the same assholes in here for like 30 years. This cat, Mike Madigan, actually, he raises property taxes, and then he has a law firm that helps you lower your property taxes. So he basically screws everybody, and then if you want to pay him money, he will get you a little bit less screwed than you were before, which is a huge conflict of interest, but only in Illinois is stuff like that allowed. We have this pension mess, and it's only getting worse. We haven't had a budget in 2 years. Our property taxes are going to be going up. Our income taxes are going to be going up 35%. I know they're going to hit businesses, and as a business owner, that's going to heavily affect me. And so I'm actually kind of looking at leaving the state of Illinois. A lot of people whine like, "Oh, I'm getting out of this shithole," blah, blah, blah. And most people just like to talk and don't really have any plans to leave. And I never really thought I would leave Illinois. You know, I'm kind of settled in here. This is home for me. Well, a lot of my family is here. My sister moved out to Ohio. My folks moved down to Charleston, South Carolina. They're actually moving back here soon. And a couple of years ago, I'd actually considered moving down to Charleston. I really, really like it down there. A really cool city. Actually, I think a really underrated city. It seems like, as far as people who go on vacation there and stuff, it seems like an older crowd. But any of you guys, man, looking for an interesting city to check out, like tons of history, great beaches, awesome food, cool bar scene, cool music scene, a lot of food trucks and things like that. You know, if you're into like paddle boarding or hiking, just tons of like outdoor stuff to do. Really cool area. And actually, if my parents are actually moving back this weekend. If my parents weren't moving back, I think I might be down in Charleston within the next 6 months. But with them moving back, it's still a place I'm considering. But, you know, without like having some family ties down there, it's not as attractive as it might have been a year ago or 2 years ago. My parents have been down there for the last 4 or 5 years. But I'm potentially looking at getting out of Illinois. So I was kind of curious from you guys, like, where do you live? Do you like it? Why do you live there? What does it have to offer? Me and my girlfriend were kind of talking about this a little bit lately, and I know my business partner was even thinking about maybe heading down to Florida or something like that. But yeah, you know, as you get older, you kind of start spending less time with friends, so I don't really have that many, you know, it's not like I'm hanging out with my friends every weekend to where like that's tying me here. My folks left, although they're coming back. My sister left, so I don't really have as many ties here to Illinois. Some places I was looking at, I don't know why I have this thing in my head where I'd like to be like, you know, not that Charleston's close, it's like a long 14-hour drive, but I kind of like, I'm not a big fan of flying, so I kind of like the idea that in like 16 hours or less, if I needed to, if there was an emergency, I could hop in the car and be back in Chicago. So that kind of like rules out like California and Washington and Oregon. Not necessarily that those states have that much appeal to me, but what I was kind of thinking about is my top states, whatever, would probably be like Florida, South Carolina, Colorado, and maybe Tennessee. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious where you guys live, why you live there, and it also kind of got me thinking, like, not just in terms of life, in terms of business and everything. It's so easy to just kind of fall into a routine and go through your daily stuff and not really think about what you're doing or plan or question, not really live with like a purpose. So I was kind of thinking about it. I'm like, why am I in Illinois? Well, really the only reason I'm in Illinois is because I was born here, grew up here most of my life, and I'm kind of comfortable here. But like, as far as like why I'm here, like it's not necessarily the best business climate. We have kind of shitty weather. We're in a state that's taxing us to death, and well, it's cheaper than like New York and LA. I mean, the cost of living here isn't fantastic compared to some other areas. My girlfriend's family's actually out in Colorado this week, and it looks really badass. But upon watching some YouTube videos and stuff like that, I think a lot of people are saying like a lot of people from California are moving out to Colorado and kind of bringing along that kind of like liberal, let's drive the state into the ground mentality. And it happens to a lot of places. So a lot of people are saying Colorado's gotten kind of shitty. They have really poor gun laws, like ever since all the California people and New York people or whatever started rushing out there. They have bad gun laws. They do have legal weed, which is really cool. That's appealing. I like outdoor stuff. The mountains seem cool. But yeah, I was watching some videos, and it's like cost of living supposed to be really high. So, you know, I haven't ruled it out, but it's looking a little bit less attractive. I think Tennessee would probably be one of the cheapest options. Florida would probably be fairly affordable. South Carolina as a whole is really cheap and really affordable, although I would say the Charleston area specifically is probably as bad cost-wise in terms of Chicago. One area that really appealed to me is Mount Pleasant. It's kind of like a suburb or an island off at Charleston, and I think it was just recently voted like #1 place to live. But I noticed their property taxes are going up. Home prices are crazy. I think I was looking at houses like $250,000 and less, and I think there were like 3 single-family homes that popped up on all of like Zillow and Redfin or whatever else. So not quite as cheap. I mean, you know, if you want to move to Somerville or even, you know, outside of the Charleston area, prices go down a lot. But, you know, if I'm going to move to some place like that, I really want to be near the coast. But I was just kind of curious from you guys, where do you live and why? I'm kind of looking for suggestions, potential options. It's not like I'm going to be moving out of the state next month, but it is something that I'm seriously considering. And as Illinois continues to go down the tube, you know, I'm probably going to become more serious about it. I guess we have a budget impasse tomorrow where if we don't come up with a state budget by tomorrow, which, by the way, we haven't had one in 2 years, lottery winners are not going to be paid out on any winnings over $600, and Powerball and Mega Millions are going to leave the state entirely because Illinois can't even pay the lottery winners, which that's one ridiculous thing. The stuff that government gets away with that a private business or a person couldn't is ridiculous. Like, if I sold lottery tickets and I couldn't pay the winner, first of all, I wouldn't even be allowed to sell lottery tickets, but if I sold lottery tickets and I wasn't allowed to pay the winners, that's fraud. I'd be thrown in jail, and the people who won would probably beat my ass. But the state is allowed to do things like that, and you know, the same holds true in a lot of areas in life. You know, the government can do whatever they want, and we the people kind of get shit on. But yeah, just kind of looking for some other potential options as far as places to live. So curious if you guys have any suggestions. And it also just kind of got me thinking about, like, you know, do some self-assessment. Every now and again, look at yourself, look at your life, and say, you know, am I happy with where I'm at? If this were my last day, is this how I would be living it? Why am I living where I'm living? Why am I doing what I'm doing? You know, start to think about stuff like that, because as I think about it, I'm like, I really don't know why I'm here in Illinois, really just because I've gotten comfortable, and it's too easy for 5 years, 10 years to go down the road, and I'm like, why the fuck have I been here the past 5 years, the past 10 years, the past 15 years? So it's something I'm putting a lot of thought into right now, and kind of maybe reevaluating where I'm living, why I'm here, what I want to do with my life, etc. So start thinking about that type of stuff, and if you have any suggestions for good places to live for me, feel free to drop in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later.